Take 10 minutes and go look in the mirror, and I mean really look, because most of you spend your entire lives avoiding your own reflection or looking at a filtered version of yourself that does not actually exist. I want you to stare yourself in the eyes and ask the most uncomfortable question a man can ask himself, which is whether or not you are a loser. You need to be brutally honest, because if you are a loser, then all the motivational videos and all the inspiring quotes in the world are just a waste of time. They are just a way for you to lie to yourself and feel a little bit better about your stagnation while you continue to do nothing. But if you decide right now that you are a winner, then you have to understand that a winner does not give a damn about how he feels or what his mood is. A winner understands that the work needs to be done, and he gets his ass up and does it regardless of the internal resistance he feels. You have to look at the reality of the world and realize that nobody is coming to save you, and if you are not rich, and if you are not successful, and if you are not respected, it is because you are missing one of the key elements of the formula. I do not believe there is anyone on this planet who truly tries their hardest, who stays on time, who works relentlessly, who has a mentor, and who does everything in their power, who is not eventually successful. If you are broke, it is because you are lying to yourself about how hard you are actually working, and you are pretending to do everything while you are really just going through the motions. You have to stop buying into the idea that your mental state is some kind of terminal disease that just fell out of the sky and took over your brain. Because feeling depressed usually means there is something depressing about your life, and it is your absolute responsibility to fix it. The world does not just throw depression at you for no reason. It is a signal from your soul that you are failing to meet the standards you know you are capable of. And if you diagnose yourself with a label, then you are just building a mental cage for yourself. I am not going to let a narrative control me, and you should not either. Because when the world gets difficult and when everything falls apart, you have two choices. You can either lay there and whine, or you can get your ass up and keep pushing forward, and it does not matter if your girl left you, or if your business is failing, or if you feel like the entire world is against you. Because the answer is always the same, which is to stop whining and get to work. Go to the gym and run your business and keep grinding, because life is a game and the rules of the game do not change just because you are in a bad mood. Most guys are just walking through life with no clue how high the stakes really are, because every inch of progress you want someone else is also trying to take. Every girl you want someone else is pursuing, and there are people out here who will absolutely destroy you while you are out there complaining about how unfair everything is. You do not have time to be sad or stagnant, because the world is too competitive, and if you want the money and the status and the lifestyle, then you have to be willing to take it from the people who are currently holding it. The universe gives to those who truly want it and who are willing to sacrifice everything for it. And you have to ask yourself if you are willing to handle the stress and the headaches and the massive amounts of sacrifice that come with being at the top. Your ability to handle stress is the single biggest factor in your success, and the more problems you can solve and the more stress you can absorb, the more money you are going to make. If you want the easy route, then that is fine, but you have to accept being a broke loser with no impact and no legacy. If you want more, then you have to choose to go all in, and you have to stop being arrogant about what you think you know. Because there are people who have already achieved everything you want who are offering to teach you, and yet you sit there broke as hell, refusing to accept help because you think you know better. If you really knew so much, then you would not be in the position you are in right now. You owe it to your ancestors to be successful, because they did not survive wars and famines and plagues just for you to sit on a sofa and complain about your feelings. 200 years ago, your ancestors were fighting to survive just so you could exist, and you have a duty to your bloodline to be the strongest and most successful version of yourself possible. In this world, as a man, you start off with zero value, and you have to build yourself from the ground up, and that is a terrifying reality for some, but it is the greatest opportunity you will ever have, because you get to choose exactly who you want to be. You can decide to be a champion or a businessman or a warrior, and if you actually go after it with everything you have, then you can make it happen. You have to stop dreaming and start doing, because the world does not owe you a single thing, and if you think things are just going to fall into your lap, then you are living in a fantasy world. You have to realize that every single decision you make is either moving you closer to your goal or further away from it, and no one cares about your excuses or your past or your sob story, because the people who win do not waste time talking about how hard it has been. They just put their heads down and they get things done. You have to stop playing the victim and stop telling yourself that life isn't fair, because life only cares about results. You have to stop waiting for the perfect moment, because there is no perfect moment, and the only time that matters is right now. While you are sitting around thinking about your problems, someone else is out there building an empire, and they do not care about your pain, and they do not care about your struggle, because they are too busy winning. You are going to regret every single second you spent whining when you look back and realize you could have been so much more, and you have to decide today that the old version of you is dead. You need to build your body and build your business and build your mind until you are the kind of man that everyone respects, and that does not happen by accident. You have to earn it every single day, because the universe does not care if you have been betrayed or if you have lost everything, and all that matters is your next move. You have to realize that there is no one coming to rescue you, and there is no magical ending unless you create it yourself. You have everything you need already inside you, but you have to unlock that relentless drive that stays consistent even when things are at their worst. You have to think about how many times you have quit just because things got a little bit tough, and you have to decide that you are never going to do that again, because the hard times are what define you and what separate you from the pack. If you want success, then you have to earn it, and you have to sacrifice your comfort and your nights out and your lazy weekends. You have to focus with a level of intensity that most people will never understand. And you have to be willing to wake up early and go to bed late and sacrifice everything you think you enjoy in order to build the life you actually want. Every moment is a choice, and you can either stay stuck or you can push yourself to be better. You have to stop saying you are not good enough or that you do not have the resources, because you just need to start, and the best way to learn is by doing. You do not need to be perfect, you just need to be relentless, and you have to be willing to fail and make mistakes, because those mistakes are your greatest teachers. You have to stop waiting and start acting, because the people who succeed are the ones who make the moment perfect by taking action. If you want to be rich and free and powerful, then stop dreaming and start working, and stop pretending that just thinking about it will make it real. Because if you do not take it, then someone else will, and you will be left with nothing but regret. You have to take the challenge today and get off your ass and make some of yourself, because the world is waiting for you to step up. If you want it, then go and take it, because it is yours for the taking only if you are willing to do the work. This is not about motivation, it is about discipline and action, and you have to decide right now what you are going to do with your future, because the clock is ticking, and every second you waste is a second you are losing ground. There is no shortcut and no secret, and it is all about the work you put in every single day. The people you admire did not get there by accident, they got there by taking action every single day. You have to ask yourself how bad you really want it, and how much you are willing to sacrifice. Because success is a battle, and it is a war that requires your mind and your body and your soul to be all in. You have to commit to the process and not just the outcome, and you have to become the kind of person who does the work even when no one is watching, and even when you feel like it isn't paying off. Every effort compounds, and every action moves you closer, and you have to be willing to give up the ease and the fun in the moment for the freedom and the power in the future. Real success is about living on your own terms, and that only comes from consistent hard work. You have to decide what you are made of when the pressure is on, and use that pressure to build something stronger. You have to face every obstacle head on and refuse to let anything stop you, because the winners are the ones who do not make excuses and who take full responsibility for their lives. You have to take control of your mind and refuse to let it talk you out of your greatness, because your mind is your greatest weapon if you master it, but it is your greatest enemy if you let it control you. You have to trust your instincts and start creating your future right now. You have to believe in yourself and trust that the work is worth it, and even when you do not see progress, you have to keep digging in and keep going, because you are usually closer to a breakthrough than you think. The difference between success and failure is simply not quitting, and when you push past the pain, you realize the world is yours for the taking. You have to decide if you are going to be the one who complains or the one who gets things done, and you have to be willing to bleed for your dreams, because if you are not, then you do not deserve them. You have to stop talking and start doing, and the game is on, and you have everything you need to win. So get to work and start living the life you have always wanted. You need to realize that being on the fence is the same as being out of the game, and you have to make a decision right this second to step up and stop wasting time, because there is no in between. Every second you hesitate, you are losing to the people who are already out there working, and the world is unforgiving, and it does not care about your feelings or your brokenness, and it keeps moving whether you are moving or not. If you are not grinding, you are getting left behind, and you have to commit to something bigger than yourself and be intentional with every single action you take. Every minute of your day needs to be focused on your goal, because time is the one thing you cannot get back, and every time you waste it on social media or distractions, you are losing the war. You have to change your mindset and realize that motivation is fleeting and discipline is what actually matters. Discipline is what gets you up when you do not feel like it, and that is the difference between the winners and the losers. You have to ask yourself what you are willing to do that others will not, because that is the price of entry, and failure is just part of the process, and you have to learn from it and come back stronger. Use your pain as fuel to propel you forward and rise above it all and keep moving no matter what, because success is temporary if you do not maintain it. You have to keep showing up every day, and there are no shortcuts to greatness. It all starts with your decision to take action, and you do not need anyone's permission or approval, because all you need is your own drive. It is time to stop dreaming and start doing, and take control of your destiny, because the clock is ticking, and if you wait for the perfect circumstances, you will be waiting forever. You have to get in the game and do the work and keep going even when it gets hard, and you have to take that first step, because every second that passes is gone forever. If you want the dream, then you have to build it yourself, and the key is having the guts to keep going when things get tough. What separates the winners is the willingness to keep fighting while everyone else is feeling sorry for themselves. You have to create your own opportunities and stop waiting for someone to hand them to you. Wanting success is not the same as doing the work, and you have to be consistent, because the grind is not glamorous and it will not show instant results. The days you want to quit are the days that matter the most, and if you are not doing everything you can every single day, then you are not serious about winning. Winning is about creating a life where you are in control, and it is hard for everyone, but that is where the growth is. You have to push through the discomfort to reach the rewards, and the world does not owe you anything. There are millions of people working harder than you, and if you are not pushing, then you are moving backwards, and someone else is going to take your place and take your opportunities and take your success if you are not careful. I am not here to tell you what you want to hear. I am here to tell you that work is everything, and talent without work ethic is useless. If you are tired of being stuck, then you have to make the decision to commit, because this is your life, and your choices today determine your reality tomorrow. Success does not wait for you to feel inspired, and you have to go out and take it. There is no one coming to save you, and you have to be the one to take control and start creating the life you want. If you want something different, you have to be different and work harder and smarter and with more intensity than ever before. The life you want is on the other side of your comfort zone, and you have to stop playing it safe and start taking risks. The sign you are looking for is right here in this moment, and you have to choose to change everything and stop making excuses and start living the success you dream about. The moment you make that decision is the moment your life starts changing, and you have to be the one to take charge, because the world is ready for you to rise up if you are ready to answer the call. You are at a crossroads, and you can either keep hoping or you can start taking control. Every choice you make is an investment, and if you do not put in the work, you will be bankrupt in the future. You have to embrace failure as part of the progress and keep adjusting until you get it right. You do not want to look back with regret and realize you should have kept going. Commitment is everything, and you are in competition with the version of yourself that wants to quit. You have to stay disciplined and avoid the trap of instant gratification. You have to sacrifice today for a better tomorrow and use your failures as fuel. Earn your success through blood and sweat, and you have to work smart and stay focused on the things that actually matter. Stop wasting your time on distractions and realize that your focus is your most valuable asset. The winners do not wait, they create their own moments through relentless action. You have to be willing to stay disciplined when everyone else falls off, because that is what separates you from the rest. This is a lifetime commitment to excellence, and it starts with one decision to make every moment count. You have to commit to the process and understand that your future is being shaped by what you do right now. If you are serious, then get off your ass and start doing the work. No more waiting and no more excuses, because it is time to go to work. If you are ready to step up, then do not hesitate, because the only thing standing in your way is your own inaction. You have to make things happen and stop waiting for a life that you are not willing to build. You have to understand that the world is a cold place that only respects strength and competence, and if you are weak, then the world will crush you without a second thought. You have to decide that you are going to be the one who does the crushing, and you have to build a version of yourself that is so formidable that the world has no choice but to give you what you want. You have to stop seeking validation from people who haven't achieved anything and start listening to the voice inside you that tells you that you are meant for more. You have to be willing to be the villain in someone else's story if it means being the hero in your own, and you have to stop caring about being liked and start caring about being effective. You have to realize that every time you say you will do something and then you do not do it, you are destroying your own self-respect and you are training your brain to be a loser. You have to start keeping the promises you make to yourself and start building the momentum that will carry you to the top. You have to realize that your potential is infinite, but your time is limited, and you have to act with a sense of urgency that borders on mania. You have to be obsessed with your own growth and your own success until it is the only thing that matters. You have to purge every negative influence and every lazy friend and every distraction from your life until there is nothing left but the mission. You have to be willing to stand alone if that is what it takes to reach the summit. You have to realize that the view from the top is worth every bit of pain and every bit of sacrifice it took to get there. You have to start today, and you have to start now, and you have to never look back until you have conquered everything you ever dreamed of. Then you have to find a new mountain to climb, because the work is never finished, and the warrior never stops fighting until the day he dies. You have to embrace the struggle and love the pain, because that is how you know you are alive, and that is how you know you are winning. You have to be the master of your own soul and the captain of your own fate, and you have to take what is yours and never apologize for your greatness. They want you to believe that you are a victim of a chemical imbalance, because a victim is easy to manage, easy to predict, and even easier to sell to. They have convinced you that your sadness is a random malfunction of the brain, a lightning strike from a clear sky that you have no control over. But the truth is far more uncomfortable, because your mind isn't broken, it is simply responding to the pathetic, sanitized environment you have built around it. Every time you sit in a dark room staring at a glowing rectangle for 12 hours a day, while consuming literal poison and wondering why you feel like a hollowed out ghost, you are not experiencing a clinical tragedy, you are experiencing a logical result. The human spirit was never designed for this level of stagnant comfort you are currently drowning in. You have successfully removed every single obstacle, every single hunt, and every single genuine struggle from your daily life until there is nothing left but the echo of your own excuses. You have been told to be gentle with yourself when in reality you need to be a tyrant to the weak parts of your soul, because the versions of you that are lazy, soft, and fearful are currently winning the military campaign for your destiny. They are leading you toward a graveyard of unfulfilled potential while you hit snooze for the 5th time this morning because your synthetic blankets are warmer than your ambition. You have convinced yourself that you are waiting for a sign or a spark of inspiration, but motivation is a fairy tale told to children, so they have an excuse to stop when the feeling fades. The man of discipline moves because he gave himself an order regardless of whether his heart is singing or his body is screaming. You are at a crossroads where you can either continue to medicate the symptoms of your own stagnation, or you can finally attack the root of the problem, which is your absolute refusal to take command of your own internal landscape. The world does not care about your feelings, it only cares about your output and the legacy you leave behind. If you were to vanish today, the world would remember you as a spectator who watched other people live while you were too busy feeling sorry for yourself to actually participate in the arena. Your ancestors did not survive famines, wars, and plagues so that you could sit on an ergonomic chair and complain about your lack of drive when you haven't even done 20 push-ups today. You haven't even drunk enough water to keep your brain functioning, and you haven't even looked another human being in the eye and spoken with a shred of conviction. You have been trained to be a victim because victims are profitable and quiet, but a warrior is loud, expensive to maintain, and refuses to accept a narrative that says they are less than capable of dominating their surroundings. Start viewing every single choice you make as a move in a high-stakes game of chess where the prize is your own soul. If you choose cheap dopamine over the hard work, you lose a pawn. If you choose to scroll over the book, you lose a knight. If you choose sleep over the sweat of training, you lose your queen. Eventually, you will find yourself in checkmate with nowhere left to turn but the mirror, where you will finally have to face the man you could have been and realize he is a total stranger to you because you were too lazy to introduce yourself. You think you are tired, but you are just bored, because boredom is the primary symptom of a life without a mission. When you have no mountain to climb, your brain will start making up problems just to give itself something to do. You have allowed your mind to become a playground for anxiety because you haven't given it a job to perform. You need to give your mind a task that is so difficult and so demanding that it doesn't have the luxury of wondering what people think of you or worrying about a past you cannot change. Your identity is not a fixed point in space, it is a fluid construct that you are writing every single second with the ink of your actions. If you don't like the story you are in, then stop being the character and start being the author. Fire the version of you that is currently in charge because he's doing a terrible job, and hire the version of you that is cold, calculated, and disciplined. Let him take the wheel for 90 days, and watch how fast your reality transforms when you stop asking for permission to be great and start demanding it from yourself. The entire modern system is designed to keep you in a state of low-level agitation, because people who are agitated are easy to distract and easy to control. You have to unplug from the hive mind and realize that your focus is the most valuable currency on the planet. You are currently giving it away for free to corporations and people who don't even know your name. Reclaim your attention and point it like a laser at the things that will actually move the needle in your life. Stop talking about what you are going to do, because the more you talk about your goals, the more your brain gets a fake dopamine hit of achievement without actually doing the work. Learn to move in silence and let your results do the screaming for you, because a man who has to tell you he is powerful is usually a man who is terrified that he isn't. A man who is actually powerful doesn't need to say a word because his presence is undeniable, and his track record is written in the blood and sweat of his own effort. You have been sold a version of reality where everyone gets a trophy, but the truth is that there is only one trophy, and it belongs to the person who stayed in the gym when everyone else went home. It belongs to the person who studied when everyone else is partying. It belongs to the person who chose the hard path, because they knew the easy path led to a cliff. You need to become obsessed with your own growth until you don't even recognize the person you were 6 months ago. Look at your weaknesses not with shame, but with clinical precision, and decide that you are going to systematically eliminate every single one of them until there's nothing left but a polished weapon. Your life is a series of compounding interest payments. Every good choice you make today will pay dividends 10 years from now, and every bad choice you make today will collect interest that you will have to pay back with your own happiness later. Stop seeking comfort, because comfort is a slow poison that numbs the spirit until it forgets how to fight. Start seeking friction, because friction is where the fire comes from, and friction is what sharpens the blade. Get comfortable being uncomfortable until the feeling of ease actually makes you feel nauseous, because you know that if things are easy, it means you aren't growing. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and if those 5 people are complaining about their lives while doing nothing to change them, then you are already doomed. Find a new tribe or walk the path alone until you are strong enough to attract winners. The ghost of the man you could have been is watching you every single second, and he's disgusted by your lack of resolve. He is waiting for you to step up and claim the throne that he currently occupies in your imagination. Stop asking why things are happening to you and start asking why they are happening for you, because every obstacle is a weight, and every weight is an opportunity to build muscle. If your life is hard right now, it is because the universe is trying to make you formidable, but you keep trying to escape into a world of numbness. You keep trying to avoid the very things that would save you. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, while the pain of regret weighs tons, and you are currently piling on the tons because you are afraid of the ounces. Wake up before the clock runs out, because time is the only resource you cannot earn back. You are spending it like it is infinite, while your youth fades and your opportunities vanish. Decide right now that the old you is dead, and that the new you is a creature of habit, action, and unrelenting will. Purge the clutter from your house, your phone, and your mind until there is only the mission. Stop looking for a secret formula or a shortcut, because the secret is that there is no secret, and the shortcut is the long way. Do the work over and over again until it becomes part of your duna. True freedom is not doing whatever you want, it is having the self-control to do what you need to do so that you can live the life you want to live. You have been a slave to your moods for too long. Become the master of your routine, because routine is the scaffolding of greatness. You have greatness buried under layers of softness and fear. Dig it out with the shovel of hard work and the pickaxe of persistence. Be willing to bleed for it, because anything worth having is worth suffering for. Stop being afraid of the dark, because the dark is where the stars are, and the dark is where you find out who you really are when the lights go out. Embrace the silence and the isolation until you are your own best friend and your own best ally. You are not a victim of circumstance, but a product of choice. You have chosen this life, and you can choose a different one starting right this second. Kill the person you currently are to let the person you want to be emerge. The birth of a new self is always a violent act. Stand up and look at the world with hunger in your eyes and fire in your belly. The only thing standing between you and the man of your dreams is the collection of lies you tell yourself every time you look in the mirror. Stop lying and start living. Stop surviving and start thriving. The clock is ticking and the world is waiting for you to prove that you are actually here. You claim you want the high life, the respect, and the power, but you aren't even willing to endure the minor inconvenience of an early alarm or a cold shower. You want the crown without the thorns, the victory without the scars, and the authority without the responsibility. That is not how reality works. Reality is a mirror that reflects the intensity of your own effort. If you give the world a half-hearted attempt, it will give you a half-hearted life. If you treat your body like a garbage disposal, your brain will function like a landfill. You cannot expect high-performance results from a low-performance lifestyle. Every time you eat processed trash, you are effectively lobotomizing your own potential. Every time you stay up late consuming mindless content, you are sacrificing your clarity for a cheap hit of dopamine that leaves you feeling more depleted than before. You are caught in a cycle of self-sabotage that you call relaxing, but there is nothing relaxing about watching your life slip through your fingers while you do nothing to stop it. True relaxation is the peace of mind that comes after a day of absolute productivity. It is the deep sleep of a warrior who left everything on the field. You don't need more rest, you need more work that makes rest necessary. You have been coddled by a society that prioritizes your comfort over your character. They want you to stay small so you don't disturb the peace. They want you to be a polite, quiet consumer who never realizes that they have the power of a god dormant inside them. Break the chains of social conditioning. Stop caring about being liked and start caring about being respected. Respect is earned in the dark, in the hours when no one is watching, when you are pushing yourself beyond your perceived limits just to see what is on the other side. You are capable of so much more than you have been led to believe. You have reserves of strength and intelligence that you haven't even begun to tap into because you've never been in a situation that required them. You have avoided every challenge so your muscles have never had to grow. You have avoided every difficult conversation so your character has never had to harden. You have avoided every risk so your life has stayed predictable and safe and utterly boring. It is time to step into the fire. It is time to seek out the things that scare you and confront them head on. If you are afraid of failure, go out and fail until you realize that failure cannot kill you. If you are afraid of rejection, go out and get rejected until you realize that other people's opinions have no power over your self-worth. If you are afraid of the work, do the work until it becomes your greatest source of pride. The only way out is through. You cannot bypass the struggle you have to go right through the center of it. You have to let the heat of the battle burn away everything that is not essential. You have to become a minimalist of the soul, focusing only on what matters and discarding the rest. Your time is running out. Every second that passes is a second you will never see again. You are one day closer to the end of your story, and you have to ask yourself if the chapter you are writing right now is worth reading. Is this the best you can do? Is this the absolute limit of your capabilities? If the answer is no, then why are you still sitting there? Why are you still making excuses? Why are you still letting your fears dictate your actions? Stand up, move, act, build, create, conquer. The world does not need more followers, it needs leaders. It does not need more critics, it needs builders. It does not need more victims, it needs victors. Be the person who does the hard things. Be the person who stays when everyone else leaves. Be the person who rises when everyone else falls. This is your life, and it is the only one you get. Don't waste it being average. Don't waste it being small. Don't waste it being a shadow of the person you are meant to be. The transition from who you are to who you want to be requires a total sacrifice of your current self. You cannot bring your old habits into your new life. You cannot bring your old excuses into your new future. You have to leave it all behind. You have to be willing to be misunderstood. You have to be willing to be alone. You have to be willing to be judged. But on the other side of that sacrifice is a level of power and fulfillment that the average person can't even imagine. It is the feeling of being truly alive, of being in total control of your own destiny. It is the feeling of looking in the mirror and knowing that you have earned your place in the world. It is the feeling of knowing that you are no longer a victim of circumstance, but a master of your own soul. You are a biological miracle, a product of millions of years of evolution, designed to be a top-tier predator of your environment. Act like it. Stop acting like a prey animal that is afraid of its own shadow. Stop letting your emotions dictate your direction. Your emotions are like the weather, they change constantly. Your discipline is like the ground, it stays firm no matter what is happening in the sky. Build your life on the ground of discipline, not the clouds of emotion. When you feel like quitting, remember why you started. Remember the pain of being mediocre. Remember the sting of being overlooked. Remember the weight of regret. Use that pain as fuel. Let it drive you forward when everything else tells you to stop. There is no such thing as giving up. There is only moving forward or dying. As long as you are breathing, you have a chance to win. As long as you are moving, you are a threat to the status quo. Never stop moving. Never stop growing. Never stop pushing. The finish line is an illusion. There is only the next level. Every summit you reach will reveal a higher peak. That is the beauty of the human experience. We are meant to be in a state of constant ascent. We are meant to be perpetually reaching for more. Don't settle for the base camp. Don't settle for the middle of the pack. Aim for the top and don't stop until you get there. And once you get there, look for the next mountain. This is the path of the warrior. This is the path of the champion. This is the only path that leads to a life worth living. You have the map. You have the tools, and you have the strength. The only thing left to do is to take the first step, and then the next, and then the next, until the person you were is nothing but a distant memory, and the person you have become is a force of nature that the world cannot ignore. The shadows of doubt that currently haunt you will evaporate in the heat of your own focused action. The whispers of "you can't" will be drowned out by the roar of "I am." Every morning you wake up is a fresh opportunity to rewrite your history. The mistakes of yesterday don't define you. The response to those mistakes defines you. If you fell down yesterday, get up today with twice the intensity. If you failed last year, start this year with a level of preparation that makes failure impossible. You aren't competing with other people, you are competing with the version of yourself that wants to stay in bed. You are competing with the version of yourself that wants to eat the cake. You are competing with the version of yourself that wants to complain. Beat that person every single day and you will eventually become untouchable. Excellence is not an act, it is a habit. It is something you do when you are tired. It is something you do when you are sad. It is something you do when no one is watching and no one will ever know. It is the uncompromising standard you hold for yourself. It is the refusal to accept anything less than your absolute best. When you live your life this way, the world takes notice. Opportunities start to appear where there were none. People start to look at you differently. You start to radiate a kind of energy that attracts success and repels weakness. You become a magnet for greatness because you have made yourself great. The journey is not easy, and it was never meant to be. If it were easy, everyone would do it. The difficulty is the filter that separates the winners from the losers. Embrace the difficulty. Love the grind. Find joy in the struggle, because the struggle is where you find yourself. The struggle is where you prove what you are made of. The struggle is the only place where true transformation happens. So don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a hard one. Don't pray for the wind to change. Pray for the skill to steer the ship. You are the captain. You are the master. You are the king of your own domain. Now act like it and never look back. Do not be fooled into thinking that you have infinite time, because that is the most dangerous deception of all. You are currently spending your youth as if it is a currency you can always replenish. But the truth is that every second you waste is a second you are permanently bankrupt of. Look at the people who are twice your age and are still making the same excuses. Do you want to be them? Do you want to reach the end of your life and realize that you never actually lived? The fear of death is small compared to the fear of a life not lived. You have to live with such intensity and such purpose that death itself is intimidated by you. This requires you to be ruthless with your time and your energy. Stop giving your attention to people who don't deserve it and things that don't matter. Focus on your mission with a level of obsession that borders on madness. People will call you crazy. They will tell you to relax. They will tell you that you are doing too much. Those are the people who are already dead inside. Ignore them. Their opinions are the sound of their own failure trying to pull you down. Keep your eyes on the prize and keep your feet moving toward it. You were born for greatness, but it is up to you to claim it. The world is yours for the taking, but only if you have the courage to take it. No more talk, no more planning, no more waiting. The time is now. Go out and conquer. Become the man you were meant to be. The legacy you leave behind will be the only thing that remains when you are gone. Make it a legacy of strength. Make it a legacy of power. Make it a legacy of victory. The universe is watching. Prove to yourself and the world that you are here to win. The game has begun. Play it like your life depends on it, because it does. Success is waiting for you on the other side of your fear. Step through it and claim your destiny. You are a warrior. You are a winner.